What's good, y'all? So, activist Shaun King is again in the headlines for very sus reasons. Okay, sus is not the right word, but he's again embroiled in controversy, and I want to dig into this a little bit today. And basically, for those of you that don't know, Shaun King is like, I guess what you can call a civil rights activist, and especially like since around 2014 when we really saw in America a lot of protests around police brutality, particularly the killing of Mike Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. We've been seeing the development of the Black Lives Matter movement and activists that are basically trying to spearhead police reform and just combating systemic racism within America. Shaun King has been one of the activists, for lack of a better term, that has been at the forefront of raising awareness about various issues going on in America that are related to police brutality and just criminal justice reform. And recently, it was announced that he and his wife moved into a 5-bedroom house in New Jersey with 5 bedrooms, and it's valued at over $800,000. But here's the kicker. A few weeks back, he was on his Facebook page asking his followers to help donate money to his wife, who had stress because she couldn't pay the remaining years of her school fees or something like that. So you were just asking your followers a few weeks back, hey guys, can you please Venmo anything to help my wife out or whatever? So how is it that they just moved into a house under his wife's name, Rye? Something is not adding up here. And this leads to my next point about Shaun King, is that this dude, I really don't think that he's all that he claims to be. And right off the bat, I do not think that the guy is a black guy. And that's one thing about Shaun King too, is that he actually identifies as black, but when you look at the family history or whatever, it's very murky. Now, I'm willing to be wrong, obviously. Maybe he really is a white passing black guy, but when you look at the biological records on his birth record, his father is biologically and ethnically a white man. But he was saying that, oh, the guy that's listed on my birth certificate isn't my actual dad. My mother, who's a white woman, she had an affair with the black man. And I've been told all my life about this, but I never met him or anything like that. So that right off the bat is a red flag for me, because doesn't your mom have a picture of your supposedly real biological father that isn't the father that's on your birth certificate? Like, what is going on here? And it's a common trend you'll see with Shaun King. Everything that he's embroiled in, it's always something related to a lack of transparency. Because a lot of the programs or the initiatives that he starts that have noble intentions and are to fight whatever cause it is that he's looking to fight at the time, whether it's perhaps helping people who are asylum seekers getting permanent status, or helping to get some innocent person on death row convicted, there's always some murkiness around it. Like, the guy just seems to always elude any type of transparency or accountability. I want to bring up a certain initiative called Justice Together. This is one of the first initiatives that Shaun King started in 2014 or 2015. And basically, here's an article I found on medium.com. This is by DeRay McKesson, someone that previously worked with Shaun King in the past. And they basically wrote like an op-ed. And boy, oh boy, like, I don't know if I can verify everything in this thing, but it's quite revealing. So basically, let's take you back to 2014, 2015. Justice Together. Now, Shaun invited DeRay to be a board member of Justice Together, one of the first organizations he began after the initial 2014 protests, focused on ending police violence. I accepted, while noting that we needed to have a convo about fundraising and finances, because Jonetta Elzy, my friend and colleague, and I were mindful about anything we attach our names to that included fundraising. So Shaun led the organization, its chapters, and had primary communication with its members. There were no regularly scheduled updates, and the board did not interface consistently with organization volunteers or finances. Shortly after the launch, I began to get emails from volunteers/members who expressed a range of concerns about Shaun's leadership, being silenced within the organization's Slack groups, or removed wholesale when they disagreed or challenged him. That is a big red flag to me. If you're a so-called social justice advocate or civil rights activist, this really should be egoless work. You can't just be putting your own feelings and your own pride above the greater mission at hand. So that to me already is a red flag that strikes him as being a very sus person. They also reported slow or no communication regarding plans and being asked only to amplify his specific ideas and no others. So the guy, he sounds like a textbook narcissist and an egomaniac. Oh, you can only say things that I agree with, and if you ever question me, you're just a troll or a white supremacist. Like, it's just gross also because you're not perfect. You're bound to say things that are not going to really lead your cause in the right way. What is the point of having a board if you just want them to basically lick your balls the whole time and not tell you when you're messing up? So that to me, that honestly would be enough for me to be like, this guy is a grifter. I'm out. So DeRay goes on to say, I forwarded the specific concerns to him so that he could address them. He told me he'd addressed the concerns and largely dismissed them as a little more than the opinions of disgruntled volunteers or trolls who had infiltrated the groups. So like I said, when people disagreed, they were removed from the group, or it was stated that they were white supremacists or trolls. Then, 2 former classmates of mine reached out to me separately that I didn't know were in chapters of Justice Together. They relayed similar concerns and also asked me where the money was going that had been raised. When I asked Shaun, he again dismissed the concerns as those coming from trolls. I told him that I would be stepping down from the board. Concerned members of Justice Together began emailing board members directly, which created a board-wide email thread where it became apparent that no board member knew about the financials of the organization. Now, this is a pretty long article that goes on to detail a whole bunch of other things regarding him not being transparent about like the finances, him omitting certain things from the IRS, him inflating the numbers of the money he quote unquote raised, even though it's just links that he compiled from different fundraisers that he shared. So there's just more sketchy things. I'm going to include this in the description of this video. But the guy is just a very murky dude. And I really don't think that he's a black man. I really think that he's a Rachel Dolezal type of character. To me, there's just too many question marks around him, and it's unfortunate that I'm seeing many people, respectable people, just getting duped by this guy. This is not somebody that's a real leader of any movement. He really is just in it to enrich his own pockets and to live a cozy lifestyle and just capitalize off of black trauma. That's really what I see from this. I'm willing to be wrong or whatever. To me, there's just too many problems that we've seen with this guy in the last 7 years. Too many people coming out and attacking him. Back when Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, he was the star of Black Panther. Back when he died last year, Shaun King sent out mass emails to his followers, and he was just including how, it's very sad that Chadwick Boseman died and everything. In that same email, he included basically a shameless plug for his new book. So how are you going to be promoting your book in an email that has to deal with the death of a respected actor, especially a respected figure in the black community? It's very opportunistic and it's just gross. Like, And so yeah, the house is $842,000, right? 5-bedroom home in New Jersey. Like, I'm just going to go out and say it, but I think that Shaun King is a grifter. And I think that people that are assuming that he's well-intentioned are being duped and being had. This guy ain't a leader of any real civil rights movement. He's just in it for himself to enrich his own pockets. And the fact that he doesn't like to be questioned and he starts to slander people and say that they're white supremacists or whatever, that to me already says that strike one, you're out. So Talcum X, or Martin Luther Cream as he called, he ain't the real deal. That's what I really can say about Shaun King. And I hope that people start really reanalyzing their support of this guy and realize that he's just a grifter at the end of the day and he's just a race hustler. Okay, I don't like that term, but he's just not good news, man. I'm going to include the links to that article and others that detail all of his murky financial dealings and him falling out with board members and just, it's a whole mess. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Follow me on Twitter TikTok, Instagram, my socials are in the description. Please subscribe, hit that bell so you always get updates. I noticed that a lot of you aren't subscribed, so please make sure to go and do that if you want to see more content. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.